Hi, we're here with Bert Hochfeld. I'm Jonathan Hedvat. We have a venture together teaching about learning how to invest. Bert has returned 45% in 2016, and just in the last few months of 2017 has returned in the high 30%, definitely beating the market. He was the #1 hedge fund in 2008. He actually made some money. Bert, I think that a lot of people would like to know right now, it's February 2018, maybe 5 or 6 names that you're really interested in right now?
Sure. I've mentioned Nutanix in the course of our conversation. Nutanix is
NTNX.
Nutanix is the leader in a field called hyperconvergence. It's the hottest thing there is in the hardware space right now. According to most of the studies that I've seen, it's growing at 43% over the next 5 years. The reason it's growing at 43% is pretty straightforward. Hyperconvergence is amazingly more efficient than everything else you can buy in the enterprise server space.
So when you want to expand your servers, this hyper-converged computing is the fastest way to grow your architecture.
It is. Nutanix really has a very significant advantage in that they don't sell hardware. You can use anybody's hardware to run Nutanix. You can use Dell, you can use IBM, you can use Cisco, you can use Lenovo. You name anybody who's making a server, you can use. They have a tie-up with Nutanix. The people use Nutanix because it's simply more efficient, okay? It gives you better performance. And because Nutanix has got a rather substantial ecosystem of apps that have been built on top of its technology. It's a huge advantage in being #1 in the space, and they have it. Their major competitor is VMware. I am not going to try to tell anybody that you should buy VxRail or Nutanix. Let somebody else deal with that. This is a space that's growing 5 times in the next 5 years, some number like that. VMware is going to be successful at it, so are these guys. So I like them.
Next pick?
I like Alteryx.
AYX.
I've said earlier that analytics is a big deal. I can also mention that data prep is a big deal. The fact is that there are millions of what are called citizen data scientists whose job it is to try to work with the company data and use predictive analytics to improve decision making.
So I want to interject. So basically someone working as like a business analyst, they used to go on Microsoft Excel, they look at a lot of columns and they try to see what to do. So Alteryx, you put your Excel spreadsheets or make your own different, Alteryx's version of Excel, and it tells you what to do next without having 4 or 5 people at the same company work on the same spreadsheet, saving, I don't know, thousands of hours of time a year.
More than thousands of hours, because data prep is a very tedious undertaking. Okay, if I have every analytic project is preceded by taking all the data and having to purify it and make it homogeneous, okay, it's one of the worst jobs there is in IT. I think you might perhaps remember from your time, but anybody who's slightly familiar with IT, you don't want to do data prep if you don't have to. The unique thing about Alteryx, there are two unique things. One is it's a combination of data prep and analytics. Most people, there are lots of very good data prep solutions. I don't want to suggest that Alteryx is unique or better. It isn't. It's not supposed to be. But data prep and analytics together, nobody else does that quite the same way. The second thing is analytics is because it's based on multiple linear regression, is very complicated, okay? How complicated is it? You don't want to know, unless that's your job. You really don't want to know. I don't want to know. And I used to do it back in my day, as I said earlier. Multiple linear regression is not an easy undertaking. Alteryx is codeless. Codeless. So
that's why they call it citizen data science. You don't have to know how to program with artificial intelligence. You can just like drag and drop, like as if you're in PowerPoint. It seems like that to learn your artificial intelligence about your data.
So it's so much simpler to use than most of the alternatives. It's so much, it's like we're in a different ballpark.
All right. So, I mean, I'm just curious if you know this, but if I had to say I have a company selling widgets and I sell, 20 this month in this country, 15 next month, 35 the next month, and I give all this to Alteryx, what are they going to spit out?
Well, first of all,
You'll give them a lot more data than that, right?
Let's start by saying you're going to tell me if it's sunny, or what the temperature is, or what the price is, or what competitive products they're selling for, if the guys that are buying your stuff have blue eyes, if the ladies that are buying your stuff have blonde hair, down to the point where what zip code they live in, how much money they make. What you're going to try is to say, if I focus on $80,000 a year people, how much am I going to sell? And if I focus on $100,000 a year people, how much I'm going to sell? That's the kind of thing that people do. Okay, if I have a special on the Beverly Hills hotel room on Thursday night, what's my occupancy going to be, as opposed to if I didn't have a special, and if I posted the special on Facebook, or I posted the special on Travelocity, or something like that. So
millions and millions of decisions can be made without spending all those hours on spreadsheets for the rest of your life. Can be done with this software.
Well, by the time, very typically, without something like Alteryx, the decision wouldn't be worthwhile, because the time for knowing about it is now. Okay.
Yeah. So
I need to know about the Thursday night promo before Thursday night.
All right, sounds good. What about the next pick? We got Nutanix, Alteryx. What's next, Bert?
I like Pega at this point in time. I think that Pega is a rare company whose shares have not reflected any of the positive trends that they have been going through in the course of 2017.
So it's PEGA. What do they do? They're a financial software provider?
No, they are not particularly, okay? Pega started out as a company that sold a rules-based engine. Okay, do you want to tell people what rules-based engine is?
It's kind of like a business process management software?
Yeah, I mean, it's a rules-based...
Okay, so somebody opens your email on Friday, but they didn't open the email you sent them on Saturday, then maybe they are more interested in this versus that, and then you can target them based on their actions.
That's partially it, but BPM is basically you have a set of business rules, okay,
Mm-hmm.
where if somebody does this, they have to do that. They cannot, it's not optional, okay?
Somebody took off on 7 Fridays, they have no more vacation days, and then you update the HR schedule or something like that?
Something like that, although usually it's, most BPM that Pega does is customer facing.
Okay.
I mean, you know, they'll figure out warranty, how to deal with people, or insurance claims, or I don't know what, but
Oh, I see.
okay. So from BPM, for the last several years, they've been approaching the Salesforce automation issue, where they do automate the decision-making of CSRs and use AI to do so. So if somebody says something, you tell the CSR what he's supposed to say next, based on what he said now.
Wow. So it seems like, the trend is telling machines and people what to do in real time is really, this is a hot thing.
It's a very, very hot thing, okay? I mean, I know it sounds spooky to some folks, but CSRs are, it's a way of empowering them, and it's a way of helping them make judgments about who they're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't been frustrated by a CSR, you are not alive in the modern world, okay? I get frustrated by them almost every time I speak to them. You may not, but I certainly do. This is a way of making your experience with CSRs a heck of a lot more productive. I just tried to pay my phone bill, my Sprint bill, this afternoon, okay? The gentleman wanted to know all kinds of things that he didn't need to know in order for me to pay my phone bill. And Sprint happens to use Pega, by the way, as a retention tool. But that's how far we have to go. I mean, Sprint improved its retention percentage by 1,000 basis points using Pega. And yet it still does this kind of thing where they ask me for my PIN number. Well, I don't have my PIN number. I'm here in California.
Oh, I see, like you call up the TD Bank now and they know from your voice who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little
That's
bit,
a different thing.
that's
That's Nutanix.
That's Nutanix.
Yeah,
Not
I'm sorry,
Nutanix.
Nuance.
Nuance, yeah, communications. So there are other three names? I know you mentioned,
Yeah,
you've been
okay,
reading some.
I'm perhaps spending longer at this than I ought to. I like, I think that Veeva is a name that people ought to take a strong look at.
VEEV.
It's the leader in some of the same technologies we're talking about, but used for healthcare, for drug discovery, quality, that kind of thing. Veeva's a highly profitable company. I think it may be the most profitable company in the enterprise that SaaS in the enterprise software space. And I think that in the last year, it's dramatically expanded its product footprint, introduced at least 14 new solutions.
Going into manufacturing, speeding up the process of.
That's Lanyap, okay? In the sense that I'm talking about their clinical stuff, 14 new clinical solutions. They have a product for CPG that essentially is the equivalent of what they do for drug discovery.
So instead of having your team waiting and waiting to see if a drug gets passed, they'll save your team, I don't know, half a year's time to get approved.
Yes.
Yeah. So that could save a lot on HR, and you figure out if your drug's going to be a blockbuster or a fail, I guess, faster. That's very valuable to drug companies, or aspiring biotech companies. With any other names? Still interested in Wix or Ubiquity?
I think Wix is a good name to look at.
WIX.
I mean, Wix is the leader in it sells people tools to create websites.
Sounds like it's a more advanced GoDaddy, something like that. That's what I think of it as.
Well, I think it's immensely more advanced than GoDaddy.
You want to talk about this Wix Code product that they came out with? What can you do with that? I mean,
well, you do the same thing. It's just one is used by professionals in the space, and one is used by citizen
web
website
developers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a friend working in this co-working space I was working at, and he's not even a web developer. He told me that he told people he could make them a website. He did it with Wix. So he charged $3,000 per website, and he made the websites in half a day each. And it ends up just costing the person that that purchased the site from him like $13 a month to do endless things to their website to change. And the customer's happy, and the guy that made the website didn't really have any technical skills. So it's really valuable to people that are not technical to get their websites online really nicely.
And they're beautiful websites. I mean, the websites that Wix creates is sort of where I lead. I have to trust other people. They have fantastic graphics and art and things that I can't even imagine why people like, but they love them. They bought a company that provides the most exotic pictures and graphics, and that apparently has been a major differentiator compared to GoDaddy.
Was that DeviantArt they purchased?
Yes, DeviantArt. Ugh. Not my fan.
It's alternative art. Yeah, not
my thing. But
any more names of Twilio or?
Well, I mean, I think that I'll throw one in there called Teradata. Okay.
TDC.
It's the closest you'll find in the value camp. Okay. Although it's not quite a value name, but Teradata is another one of the. Teradata was a company that time forgot, so to speak. And the guy that ran it forgot that it was that the universe had turned over, and that people were interested in subscription models and cloud and so forth. And the company between 2013 and 2016 probably lost 20% of its business.
I'd like to just explain what that is. The way I understood this, if I'm not wrong, so for example, Teradata, they do kind of like enterprise storage. So for example, even for my website, I mean, this is for probably much bigger companies. I've always paid like $200 a month for unlimited server help in my package range. But then now they have things like AWS. It depends what you use for the month, and usually my bill is like 75 to 8 or 83 or 82. But on the company where I'm paying $200 a month, if I'm not even using it, my site got no traffic, they're still charging me $200 a month, and that became a lot less popular recently.
So, what you've seen, okay, the new CEO came, Vic Lund, and it really didn't take Vic more than 30 or 60 days to figure out what was wrong with Teradata. Teradata had very, very loyal customers. Believe me, they had to be real loyal because Teradata wasn't keeping up with the times. But they loved the functionality of the database. If you're doing analytics, you can't use a relational database effectively. I mean, table joins are too hard to do. Anybody who's, again, familiar with the subject will tell you that if I have to do thousands of table joins, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, for if you want to, now like with real-time decision making, say you have like a database with like 50,000 columns, every time it wants to grab a piece of information, it has to go down like first 25,000 rows to see if it like grabbed the data, and then if it didn't, I mean, it just takes too long, because right now, you know, people like Bert was saying, you make decisions with like, one person has like 50,000, I don't know, 1,000 attributes, their name, their hair color, their age, their gender, their family size, I mean, and it's too much server crashing to get all this in real time. That's right, Anna.
So, but Teradata, while its functionality was great, the consumption options it offered its users were prehistoric, okay? And it did not offer its users consulting capabilities. This stuff is hard to do, okay? I would not, recommend it to your firstborn child. Putting together queries in this is very, very complex. It takes lots. You may think it sounds very simple just to ask a question. Very hard to ask the right question. Anyway, Mr. Lund figured this out. Frankly, most people would. And he just ripped through the organization like anything and said, we're going to be friendly to our customers, give them what they want, give them any kind of consumption alternative that they want. He invented this thing called T-Cores, which is a way of summarizing your usage of Teradata solutions and said, charge you based on the number of T-Cores you use. And you can buy our solution on Amazon, you can buy it on our cloud, you can buy it based on managed services, you can buy it any way you want. All of a sudden, the bookings started to escalate. And now, all of a sudden, the actual headline numbers are in the process of dramatically moving up. This has not been caught on to by most of the analysts. Teradata...
Still? Still they haven't figured it out?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Because Teradata, I said, don't anthropomorphize your companies. Yeah, these people went through 3+ years of hell. So I don't like Teradata anymore. They think Teradata is a bad company.
Mm-hmm.
There are no such things.
So this not a stock pick, but Bert once did not recommend anymore Twilio when their shares were way too high because they were very highly reliant on Uber and Facebook's products. And now look at it like maybe a year and a half later or less. Twilio's revenue from just those two companies is around 5%, and now Bert thinks it's a good pick. So if you anthropomorphize your picks and treat them like a person that you hate, that's not a good thing because the company turns around. It could be a great opportunity.
Yeah, I keep telling people that they're just 3 letters or 4 letters and a bunch of numbers. They are not people. Do not hate them, do not love them, do not engage in sexual conduct with them. Just
On that note, thank you, Bert.